Welcome back to another episode of Ty's Kitchen. I'm so happy to have you here today. And for today, we're talking about self-care as per usual and the importance of prioritizing yourself and your well-being. It's so easy. I keep telling you this then, Mom. It's very easy. For today, we're talking about the hibiscus tea and the importance of having it in your everyday life. It helps you bloom, but more importantly, it helps your liver, your blood pressure, and so many other things. It's not so difficult to get it. You can get it from any supermarket or even from a local market, anywhere at all. So come with me on the journey today. I'm so happy to have you here. Today is someone very special, an author of an amazing book that you probably know about, The Parlor Wife. So welcome, Foluso on set, please. Hi, Foluso. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
me. You here. So I was just telling Zen moms about the hibiscus tea and the importance in our everyday lives. But more importantly, tell me, do authors really drink a lot of tea?
I wish it wasn't true. Actually, no, I don't wish it wasn't true because I love tea. But yeah, we drink a lot of tea. I mean, I drink
what does
so
it do?
much tea.
Okay, so it helps you feel calm, right?
No, it's just so soothing. Like, I've been drinking tea. It's something I started doing with my mom when I was probably like 12 years old. And like, I just drink tea all day. It's so soothing. It's a good way to procrastinate as well. So if I've got edits I'm supposed to be handing in, make myself a cup of tea. Something else to do before I start editing.
Yeah, nice. So in here we have some hibiscus leaves and some roses as well.
Smells very nice.
So let's sip on it. Tell me how you feel.
Okay.
And I keep telling Zen moms, it's so easy to find all of these things. It helps you bloom. It brings out the best version of yourself. It calms you down. It soothes you. So
I really like hibiscus tea. It helps me sleep.
Let's do it.
This is really nice. It tastes a bit like zobo, actually.
I think it's the main ingredient of zobo. Yeah.
But this brand tastes very zobo-like.
And while we're at this, for every episode we have our little bites. And for today we have some veggie bites and some hummus.
Yum.
So we're going to be chopping up some of these and just showing our Zen moms how easy it is to get all of these things.
Very nice.
Yeah. Let's just move this over here.
You always chop the carrots. Oh, got that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll grab a carrot.
Yes.
Pass you the plate.
Thank you.
Yum, I actually love hummus and dips, so this is perfect for me.
Nice. You can handle the knives, are you sure?
I mean,
the carrots.
I can handle the carrots. This is the easier one to handle. How do you want me to cut them? Long?
I think it's meant to be long. Good luck. So while we're doing this, tell us a bit more about your book. Earlier on, we were talking about like why the storyline you had said it's about a woman trying to balance everything and juggle a bunch of things. What were you going through at that point in your life that made you write the book?
So I've always loved historical fiction as a genre, and World War II is a period in history that I've read so much about, and I found that I hadn't read that much about World War II in Nigeria.
Okay.
So coincidentally, when I started writing The Parlor Wife in 2019, I was talking to my grandparents, and she was telling me a story about how she was queuing in ration queues with her siblings. And it just made me think, I don't know anything about World War II in Nigeria. I don't know what the women were doing at that time. I don't know what the people were doing. And that's how I started my journey in The Parlor Wife. And I'm a mom, so my children, have grown since then. But at the time, they were quite young, and I was balancing working remotely during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Really finding myself as a mom, balancing motherhood, being a wife, online classes, Zoom classes, and
why did you have Zoom classes? What classes were you taking?
Well, the children were doing all their classes on Zoom because of the lockdown. So I felt like it was a bit of an escape, like just being able to write. And writing is something I've been doing since I was 7, but that was the year that I really decided to take it seriously.
Or bloomed.
Yeah. So selfishly, for me, The Parlor Wife was a bit of an escape. And because It's a story about a woman who has to go through so many. I'm clearly struggling. I think I would switch to the cucumbers because I'm struggling.
Yeah, let's do that.
So the power is about a woman who, you know, she goes through so much. Oh, thank you. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't cut this one, so I'm not wasting it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave that one. Thank you. And it was just a nice escape for me because, you know, it's in 1939, so very different. But I find that as people, as human beings, we want the same things in life. So I don't think women in 1939 would have wanted that much difference. You want to be empowered, you want to have a fulfilled life, you want to find yourself. And it was nice to be able to write Kendi's story.
Nice. And just, you know, rolling on that, I remember my dad used to say, everything that happens now has happened before. Nothing new is happening in life today. So yeah, so while we're here, let's just enjoy our...
Can I actually eat them?
Yeah, of course you can. No, have some of mine.
So good.
I was able to cut them up.
Yeah, mine looks like I do not have any experience in cutting
no,
this
it's
type
okay.
of knife.
Let's have some. Let's share.
Really nice hummus as well. Let's put some on my plate.
I should do the same. But so let's take the conversation outside. Take our food outside and let's continue our conversation.
Nice.
Thank you. Thanks, Foluso, for joining me here for the conversation.
Thank you for having me. I'm enjoying the tea as well.
Nice.
It's very nice.
Nice. So guiding our conversation would be our conversation cards. It's called Mindful Healing, Uplifting for Every Woman. And we're going to be starting with the self-care deck. I'll be asking you a question from here. 1 minute. And it says you deserve time for yourself and you should schedule me time daily. How do you take out time for yourself? What is self-care to you? On a daily basis, not like weekly or monthly. How do you make sure you make out time for yourself?
So I think this is something that, you know, I've improved. My technique has improved with time. So I usually try and have at least one meal a day on my own, and it takes me about 15 to 30 minutes to eat. I'm not a fast eater. And what I'll do is I'll bring out my favorite book. I love eating and reading at the same time. I'll bring out a book that I'm reading and I will read and eat. And that's just for me. That's just my time by myself. I'm enjoying my meal. And then on, I guess, a bigger scale, if I've got more time that day, I will spend an hour. So after I finish doing that, I'll do the meal with my book, and then I'll try and go for a walk by myself. Just, you know, I like to walk without listening to anything, but if I'm feeling a bit anxious that day, which I do sometimes, I like to listen to a podcast. So I'll listen to a podcast and that just kind of calms me down, and then I come back and get on with my day. And I find that when I've done that, I'm more productive.
Nice.
That's the thing about self-care. Like, the more you take care of yourself, the more you are able to be a better self for everybody around you in your life. Of course.
And I was saying earlier, so how did you learn, like at what point did you realize that, you know, self-care was important? Like, when did you start infusing this in your everyday life? Have you always done this, or did you learn from maybe your mom?
I think that's an interesting question. No one's ever asked me that. So I think that growing up, I always thought I was an introvert. And then people would argue with me and be like, no, you're so friendly. Like, I don't think you're an introvert at all. You're an extrovert. But I knew I wasn't an extrovert. I knew that the time that I spent by myself was when I was able to recharge my batteries, and I really just enjoyed spending time by myself. So I recently learned of this term the other day, and I think this is actually what my personality type is. It's called ambivert, where you are not an introvert and you're not an extrovert. You're somewhere in the middle. So you like people who you feel add to your energy, like people who have positive energy, people who I feel safe with. I love spending time with them. I can spend as much time with them as possible.
Nice.
But I still really value having my own time to myself. And I think that aspect of my personality is where that need to have self-care has just naturally developed. Like, I've just always found that, okay, even if I've been out the whole day, I need to come home and just recharge. And that's separate from my writing, because you know, writing is an escape for me as well.
That's a different time.
That's very different. That's different from being a mom. That's different from the other things that energize me, like spending time with my children, spending time with my husband, spending time with my friends, doing my writing. This is just time to recharge.
Nice.
And I think that's something that naturally came about because of like I said, my personality type.
Nice, nice, nice. And I think for moms, we struggle with the importance of self-care. And we always say on Zen Mom that it's important to fill yourself up so that you have enough to give everyone else around you. And you know, a lot of the time, we find that a lot of moms are overwhelmed. A lot of women are overwhelmed.
Yep.
You're balancing doing so many things and showing up for your family as well, trying to be 100%. But then you'll be shocked what 15 minutes or
Can
even
do. It makes such a huge
maybe
difference.
not 10, 15 minutes can do for both yourself and everyone around you. And you mentioned something about energy. Being particular about the energy that you have around you is also very, very important. So that also feeds into your self-care. And it's not in a bad way. I guess you call it boundaries. And as you grow older, you know what you like and what you don't like. You know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And you have to just embrace that. So thank you. Thank you
You're
for that,
welcome.
Felicia.
You know, the thing about boundaries, before we move on, you know, we just spoke about mom guilt.
Yeah.
And I feel like enforcing the boundaries sometimes is difficult as a mom, because boundaries also means boundaries with your children. Like, you need to show them that sometimes you need to take time out for yourself. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's really
but
hard.
you have
I'm still
to.
struggling with it now.
Yeah.
But like, my children know that I will come and play with you in 1 hour. Just mommy needs some time right now to do whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or even if it's mommy's resting right now, I'll
Yes.
be with you in 1 hour.
And you know, the thing is, they're watching you and they're understanding that they would probably learn and like even grow up to understand that they can take out time for themselves too. They can go and, you know, swim or even practice yoga. My daughter practices yoga.
Oh, that's nice.
When you're feeling some type of way, knowing that it's okay to take out some time for yourself. It doesn't mean you don't love the person anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, the boundaries with our immediate families is probably like the most
It's tricky,
difficult thing.
and I think nobody will ever be completely an expert at boundary setting, but it's something that we need to teach our children as well. Like, it's very important to have a healthy set of boundaries to have a healthy life.
And speaking about self-care, and now that we're even talking about boundaries, would you say that as you've grown older, as you've had kids, you've had to let go of certain people in your life maybe, you know, in terms of like self-care? You know, it's more like, okay, maybe this does not work right now with the journey I'm on. You know, how would you say that, you know, for me, I'll talk about myself, it's been bittersweet. Like the time when I'm like, ouch, and the time when I'm like, yes, you know, I have to do this for the journey, you know, for my kids, for my home, for everything around me. And these are things that women, as we grow older, you'd find that the people that worked for you back then don't necessarily work for you right now. And this is all a form of self-care.
Yep.
You know what I
Agreed.
mean? Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I've found the same. Like, you know, just as relationships evolve over the years.
Relationships evolve.
Yeah. And your children, honestly, your children are your priority. Like, it just happens when you become a mom. Like, you're like, this doesn't work for me anymore.
Yeah.
So sadly, it just,
Yeah, and it's just about being the best version of yourself. That's the most important thing for yourself and everyone around you. And I think we jumped the gun. So for each card, we have a tip on how to practice your self-care or, you know, manage your mom guilt. And this one says, block out at least 15 minutes each day just for you, which you already do. And use this time to do something you love or simply relax.
Or just relax.
Yeah.
But for me, a book has to be in my hand for it to be relaxation. Like, that's like my
And I'm sure your
ultimate.
kids are watching you and
My daughter absolutely loves reading. My son is still, he's not so sure yet, but my daughter loves reading.
Nice.
And she reads, I mean, I thought I was a voracious reader, but she can finish a book a day, and she will be reading 3 books at a time, and
That's beautiful.
she absolutely loves reading.
Nice. Bless her. So thanks Felicia for the chat. It was
Thanks
nice
for having me.
here.
Thanks for the tea and the hummus as well. It was very delicious.
And remember, most importantly, that it's important to take care of yourself. Take out some time to prioritize your self-care. Remember the boundaries. Remember to sip on some tea. And just have a good friend around. Have a nice day.
Bye.